All right, let's take a look at fun number 3. If we check the email, we find out that we've got a lost skier somewhere on the West Ridge, and we've pinged his location with the phone company, and they've given these coordinates here. So if we copy those coordinates, come over and make a waypoint, find out where this guy is when he puts in his note, is get pinged, we see that he's outside the area. Here's Couliar Express, here's the West Ridge running down here. So let's zoom in a little bit now that we know where our area of interest is. We get a few more contours show up as we get in closer, and we can see more what the terrain looks like. Now, go back on our description, we see that Jim is at this location here, seeing tracks that head out of the ski area. So we'll copy those coordinates, make a new waypoint, paste those in here, and find out where Jim is. So Jim's right up on the ridge. If we scoot over just a little bit, we can see the bottom of the couloir there. And so he was here and he skied. That appears to be where he left the area. And now he's standing there when the phone company pings him. Let's go on to number 3. If it says that Talbot calls him and tells him to stay put, he says he can hear the trucks on the road below, and he's on a rounded ridge, and he's going to ski it until he hits the highway. Will he hit the highway? Well, we can see the rounded ridge he's on is right here. And if he skis it, he's not going to hit the highway because the highway is at 3,800 feet, and he is already below 3,800. Well, he's right at 3,800 feet, a little bit below it. So he's not going to, he's maybe above the highway at this point, but if he skis down this ridge, he's going to end up below the highway. So we go on to the next one. If he skis at the 3,400-foot contour line, will he hit the road? No. Against all advice, he skis to the 3,400-foot level. At this point, what's his best route back to the highway? Well, let's put in a waypoint where he is now. If he skied that ridge, he would have skied down the ridge here, and he'd end up at the 3,400-foot level right there. So he's pretty close to Mill Ridge Creek. And if he's going to try and get back to the highway, he's going to have to cross the creek and then go up a very steep embankment to get to the highway. We can check how steep that is and what the avalanche would be if we put in the slope angle shading. And we can see that's all pretty steep terrain right in there. So that is not something we want this guy to go up. But like it said, he's out of communication zone now. So we can't find out, we can't tell him not to go up that hill. Hopefully he won't. We'll leave that marker there. Then it asks, one of the questions asked, I think it was back on number 2 or 3, where does it say? Something about, assuming a straight line, here it is. How far did he ski and how much vert did he get for his efforts? So to get that question answered, let's go back to where we can see those 2 points. And this time we're going to add a line. We'll put a straight line in between them. So we'll click here and we'll drag out to there and drop there. Then we'll hit our check mark. And then we can click on this and ask to see the profile. And in the profile, we can see, the way I drew it, he's going to drop 1982 feet, and he's going to go about 9/10 of a mile, something like that, where he'd be. Okay? So let's go back. Anticipating a move, Talbot sends a crew to this location. Well, let's find out where that location is. So we'll copy that and come back to our map. I'm going to get rid of this. And we'll move over here and add a new waypoint, and then we'll put in those new coordinates. So we'll paste, and wait, did those coordinates go in? Yeah, he sent them to the trailhead right here. That's where they're at the trailhead. Okay, so hopefully found that spot. And then using, knowing that our lost skier doesn't have uphill gear of any kind, where would you expect to find him? Well, if we think about this, he's standing here. The only place he can ski is this way. That's the only way that's downhill and staying out of the creek. So he's going to ski down here, and pretty soon the ground's going to become completely flat. He's not going anywhere. So he must be somewhere in this region if he skied downhill. So somewhere in here in this big flat area, because we know he can't ski uphill. So it says, using the polygon tool, draw a perimeter where we think he might be. All right, well, giving it some berth here, let's go down and we see that there's a polygon tool. There it is. And we're going to click in an area and find out where he might be. So if he skied downhill, I'd think he'd be not crossing the creek. I would guess he wouldn't do that. And the trail is underneath snow, so he probably doesn't know it's there. So I would guess that he's not going uphill at all, giving the benefit of the doubt that he might have skied any one of these directions, but we'll say he might be in an area that looks something like that. And if we check that off, we can see that the area that we're covering is about 75 acres is the area that he's covering. Okay. If you find him where the trail crosses Clear Fork of the Cowlitz, how far will they have to hike to get back up to the highway? Well, for that, we can use the trail tool. We'll use the line again. And this time, we'll have it follow the trail. So he starts here, and then he works his way up this trail until he gets to the highway, which is right there. So we'll click there, check it, say, yep, that's what we wanted. Click on this, hit the profile, and we can see that he's going to go about 0.8 of a mile and gain about 633 feet. And I think that completes our question. Yeah. So if you have any questions, feel free to email me. Thanks for watching. Take care.